Hi everyone, welcome to my tiny studio. I hope that you are having a great day. So I wanted to talk to you about the misconceptions of wearing dreadlocks. And a lot of people, when they're researching and really thinking about starting their dreadlock journey, are bombarded with questions from friends and family and associates and workmates with questions that are sometimes filled with misconceptions about dreadlocks. And how should you answer or respond to people who have legitimate concerns about you starting your journey of wearing dreadlocks, of becoming a dreadlock gentleman or a Rastaman, a Rasta woman, a Locknista, a sister lock sister? How do you respond or how should you respond to people who come to you with questions, but those questions are truly based upon misconceptions about dreadlocks? Well, it can be very difficult. When I first started dreadlocking in 2002, there weren't a lot of people outside of folks who were into African spiritualism or Rastafarianism who were wearing dreadlocks. It just wasn't. And so people who are Rastafarian, they were already getting a bad rap when it came to dreadlocks, because dreadlocks for so many people, well, Rastafarianism itself, the misconception is that Rastafarians, all they do is, smoke weed and lay around, which is terrible, because I know a lot of people who are Rastafarians who are not lazy. In fact, Rastafarians are the most industrious people that I know. And speaking of industrious, they are also the most healthy and the most spiritual that I know. So that misconception is very wrong, and it comes from reggae music. It comes from people taking reggae music itself, and they have a misconception about the beauty of reggae and the purpose of reggae. And see, if you do not understand reggae, you don't understand the beauty, you don't understand the beauty of Rastafarianism, then you're going to listen to the chatter of people who like to discuss things and like to poke fun of things that they do not understand. So in that vein, that is why I say that there are misconceptions about dreadlocks. The main misconception about dreading your hair is the fact, and the question is, are you going to wash your hair? Why would you have a style where you don't wash your hair? That is the number one question that a person who is embarking on this journey will receive. Trust me on that. What should be your answer when your family and friends come to you and ask you whether or not you're going to stop washing your hair? First of all, always consider questions about your hair as a teaching moment. Don't be insulted. Don't take anything personal. It's a teaching moment. When someone asks you or say, well, you're not going to wash your hair anymore, or do you wash your hair? What should you say? When someone asks you that, You let them know emphatically that you believe in good hygiene. And part of that regimen of good hygiene that you have is the washing of your hair. Let them know that everyone who wears dreads washes their hair. Most definitely. Now they may say, well, I knew Billy Bob Sutton Sutton, and they had dreadlocks, and they had all kind of bugs and stuff in their hair, and well, then that's just them. That's not all of us. And perhaps Mr. Billy Bob Sutton Sutton, maybe he was suffering from some type of mental illness disorder that you don't know of, and that's what happened. That could be it. Or someone else may say, well, I was over at so-and-so and somebody had some dreadlocks and it looked real funny looking and it was smelling, and dreadlocks, they smell. So, are you sure you're going to wash your hair? Yes, and it's true that your hair does take on different scents and odors because, guess what? Your scalp is porous, just like the rest of your body. So yes, there are going to be odors, but you can control those odors by having a really good regimen of washing your hair. And as a matter of fact, I will only advise you to wash your hair every 6 to 8 weeks. And if you're a person like me who has long locks, what I do is I keep my locks covered. I have a nice, beautiful dreadlock hat, slouchy hat, and I put my hair inside my hat, and when I'm at home, that's how I walk around my house. If I have to go out and about, I may allow my hair to be out to get some sunlight, some good vitamin D and some air. And then there are days when I decide to, wear a scarf or have my hair covered in my slouchy hat. But I am very conscious of the fact that smells can be soaked up into my hair. And what I do is, if there's someone that's cooking fish or something of that nature that I know has a strong scent to it, I cover my hair. That's what I do. So it is possible to have scents and, attract scents to your hair like cigarette smoke and things of that nature. But you just have to be conscious of those things. And that's hair in general. I know people who do not have dreadlocks who have cigarette smoke smells in their hair. It's all about the type of environment that you find yourself in. And when you find that you have developed certain scents in your hair, then go ahead and wash it. But yes, we do wash our hair. What's another question that will be raised as you begin your journey of being a locknista or a lock gentleman? Another good question is the misconception that all of us who wear dreadlocks are Rastafarians. What someone is probably going to ask you is, if you've changed your religion, are you a Rasta man or a Rasta woman now? It is true, as I said earlier, that a lot of people would associate dreadlocks to Rastafarianism, and there are a lot of people who are wearing dreadlocks who are Rastafarian, but there are also those who practice African spiritualisms, such as myself, or there may be others who are just regular, ordinary Christians, or there are some who wear dreadlocks who are Muslim. There are many different religions and many different spiritualities that people practice who wear dreadlocks. It's a natural hairstyle, and it's a natural way of life. It is not just something that is or pigeonholed for one spiritual belief system. Dreadlocks usually covers the gambit of belief systems, because we are spiritual beings having a human existence, and sometimes, our spiritual journey takes us on the path of locking our hair. But everybody who does it is not Rastafari. So that's another misconception. Another misconception that people have about dreadlocks is that, so you're just going to stop combing your hair. And if you're African American, you get that a lot, so you're just going to stop combing your hair. What's that about? And I find that to be really, really interesting whenever someone says that to me in a kind of like a sarcastic or mean way. And it's not the fact that I'm not combing my hair, and it's not the fact that I don't use different things, I don't put things in my hair. It's just the fact that my hair has just decided to do what it does and be natural, and I just allow it to tangle. Now, yes, there are days when I brush my hair, and I brush it. And in fact, this style right here that I'm wearing, I had to brush it. So I didn't throw away all of my combs and whatnot. I have to brush my hair. And when I decide that I want to untangle my hair, or because I'm a free former, so every few months I go into my hair and I go ahead and I pull the locks apart from each other. And occasionally when I do so, guess what I use? Excuse me. I use a comb. So just because I'm locking my hair doesn't mean I don't comb it or I don't brush it, because I do. I do use a comb occasionally, and I use a brush often. Sometimes I use a brush every day. Now, there's a thing where people are doing where they're just brushing their locks for some unknown reason. I haven't figured that out yet, but I'm going to ask somebody, why is brushing your locks such a thing now? And I haven't figured it out yet. But I would think that for me, the reason why I just happen to brush my locks is that I want a style. And so I brush my hair and I put it into a little pony, and that's why I'm brushing my hair. And then sometimes I'll take the brush and I'll just brush my fuzziness down a little bit. And once I brush my fuzziness down, I'm good. I feel fine. But I'm guessing that people are using brushing as a method of trying to keep your hair neat. I don't know. You have to ask the people who are coming up with this thing on, brushing is good for your locks. I don't understand it, but I guess I'm not supposed to understand it. But anyhow, no, when you dreading your hair, no, you're not committing to not combing your hair or brushing your hair, because yes, we still do use those utensils, we still do use those styling tools. However, we use them in a different way. What's another misconception that people have about dreads? I covered the part where people ask you, did you wash them? What makes them stink? Oh, here's another portion about stinky dreadlocks. Now, yes, your dreadlocks can take on odors, but your dreadlocks can also take on odors, offensive odors, being that when you wash it and you do not dry it properly, your hair can take on this damp and moldy smell, and that's not a good smell. And what needs to be done is you have to let your hair totally dry. And I'm going to do a video about this soon, about drying your hair, because when you wash your hair, and if you're like me, if you're like me, see, I have a lot of hair, and when my hair was longer and went down to my almost down to the back of my knee, when it was that long, it was a process to wash my hair. And so after I would wash it, what I would do is I would braid it, and I would braid it, and I would keep it braided for like a week. And that's how I was able to let my hair dry in totality. Some people use heat, use blow dryers. Some people use a dryer that you sit under and dry their hair. It's many things that you can do, but my suggestion is I would not put heat on my dreadlocks. I would just let them air dry. And the best way to let your hair to air dry is to braid it. And that's what I do. I would when I wash my hair, I plait it. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to do a video on that. The next time it's time for me to wash my hair. Within the next in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be washing my hair, and when I wash it, I'm going to make a video and let you see my process of how I go about plaiting my hair. But I don't use heat on it. I used to blow dry my hair, but the thing with blow drying is that if you have a lot of hair, and depending on the thickness of it, you're not going to get every spot dry. That's number one. Number two is it can take you a long time to dry your hair with a dryer, depending on how thick or the thickness of your hair. And sometimes using all that heat on your dreadlocks can be terrible, damaging to your locks, because all that heat is going to dry your hair, make it brittle. And next thing you know, you have thinning and breakage, which is not something that you want. So for me, I would vote no. I do not suggest that you use a hair dryer, a blow dryer to dry your hair. But if you find that is necessary, be mindful too. Especially be mindful that your whole head is dry, because there can be locks or pockets of locks that are not dry, that are still damp, and that is what causes odors. Now, I've never seen anyone or experienced having moldy locks. I've heard of that, but I've never seen it. And I've had long my locks have been very, very long, and I have experienced having a smell when I have allowed my locks not to dry fully. I have had a damp smell to it, but I have never experienced mold in my locks, which is an interesting concept. Very interesting concept. But I have never had moldy locks, but I've had that smell, which has caused me to go back into the shower and rewash my hair and plait it and leave it plait for up to 5 days. So what's another misconception people have about people who wear dreadlocks? Or I don't know, I'm trying to think. Those were the big ones. Those were the big issues, the big questions that people basically ask. Or they say something like, is that really your hair? When your locks get to a certain length, that was like the next big question that people would ask me. Is that your real hair? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And can African American people or people of African descent grow their hair long? Of course, yes, we can. And dreadlocks and sisterlocks are the perfect style or ways to style your hair and be committed to it, where we see lots of length, tremendous length. And if you are genetically predisposed to, long hair in your family, then of course that's going to be you anyway. I'm predisposed to having length because, this is my family. The women in my family have beautiful, beautiful long hair. And so, locking my hair and, having length is nothing new to me. For some people, it'll be an experience because they've never grown their hair out onto the length that it can possibly become, and so it's an experience for them. But for me, I've grown up with long hair, so this journey of length is nothing new to me. But the act of not having to relax it and then press it and then curl it, all of that drama I don't have to deal with, and I'm happy about that. That's it for the different misconceptions and myths that or questions that you may run into wearing dreadlocks, or becoming a locknista, or a dreadlock diva, a Rasta man, a Rasta woman. Those are basically the top questions that you get when you decide to get on this journey of dreadlocking your hair. And if you have run into any other questions and misconceptions that you would like to talk about, drop down in the comment section and let me know what those questions are, because I would like to read them. And if there's something that you want me to address about the misconceptions of wearing dreadlocks, please do so. But I do want to say two things. If you are contemplating wearing dreadlocks, know this: there are going to be people who are most definitely going to look at you strange. They're going to have something weird and slick to say about it, and they're not going to be supportive. There will be people like that, and those people will sometimes come from your own family and friends. But don't take it personal. Just know that when they come to you with questions, concerns, or comments, this is your moment to shine, and this is your moment to teach, not debate, not argue, just teach. Okay? And know that your crown and what you're wearing, people, your ancestors who came before you centuries ago, eons ago, wore this style, was on this journey, and they didn't think, they probably weren't walking around asking people, or people weren't asking them, hey, do you wash your hair? No one was asking questions like that, because it was understood this is who we are, and this is what we are, and we're going to do what our hair allows it to do. It's just who we are. We're just living. We are being. We are in existence, and this is what we do. This is part of our journey. So know that the questions and misconceptions that come your way, don't take it personal. Don't take it personal unless you have a gut feeling that somebody's trying to be funny, if you know what I mean. But just know that the questions will come, the remarks will come, and people will try to make you feel uncomfortable. There are going to be people who are going to push you off your square or attempt to do it. But always know that Nail is here to support you on your journey, and that you will always find support here in Nail's Tiny Studio. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel and press the like button and let me know how you feel about this video down in the comment section. I think it's time for me to drink some more tea. Thank you so much, and I want you to have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.